Okay, so today I am going to give you a glimpse of what's happening in Japan because it should matter to all of you in terms of marketers understanding innovation. So not a lot of innovation from Japan makes it across borders because a lot of issues. But this is me. I am a traveler, a keynote speaker, entrepreneur, mentor, connector, whatever. And that's my little son down there in the right, bottom right. He's 2 years old, and he's probably the youngest person who ever put on Google glasses. Anyway, so why bother listening to me at Marketing Rockstars? I basically travel the world to talk about what's happening in Japan and give everybody a glimpse of what they should expect in terms of innovation. So I'm here to talk about Japan and its homogeneous society, because Japan, in a lot of cases, has a lot of innovation behind its curtains. The Japanese people are known for long-term vision, and it pays off in the end because we can create really sustainable things from it. So some first, if you are in the mobile industry, things that should matter to you is that we were the first ones to have mobile internet, mobile email from '99, camera phone in 2000. We go down the list, we had NFC on our phones from 2004, so we were basically swiping our mobile phones at the train stations and boarding planes, going to a convenience store and buying stuff, and also checking into a hotel. But it's all about the economy and the ecosystem that you create around innovation to make it work and make it happen, make it something that's important for people, the customers and clients that you reach out to. So I mentioned putting an NFC on mobile phones. The mobile phones are something that is always in your pockets, within your hand's reach. So it's very important that you focus on a touch point, like turnstiles, and make it interact with mobile phones to make an economy work around this. We were also the first ones to basically have all of the McDonald's nationwide carry little readers that interact with your mobile phone, so you could swipe to redeem a coupon and pay with another swipe. We were also into putting a lot of things onto the mobile phone because basically internet connectivity for the PCs were really, really expensive in Japan. So we said, why don't we put digital TV on our phones? So the majority of phones from 2007 actually have digital TV because it's on flat rates, very cheap, about €5 per month. But the thing is, for marketers or innovators, it's really important for you to sort of like focus on creating this craving habit this is from a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. But there's a cue, there's a routine, there's a reward. For mobile in Japan, we were rewarded, or the marketers and innovators rewarded people with a peace of mind, convenience. So people who would use mobile for all these things would, in the end, feel that it was really convenient. And also, there was no fragmentation among the carriers that, for instance, like the NFC standards were all default on all phones. Digital television, the standards were all the same on all phones. You have to create an ecosystem that really really caters to all of your clients and customers and create this habit in order for ecosystems to work. So that's why the Japanese mobile market in total is about like 7.3 billion in VAS. Advertising is about 1.2 billion, and commerce generates about 11.8 billion. So now you're thinking, oh, Japan's just a little island country on the far east of this earth. It's about 138 million people, but so what? But the Japanese people love the iPhone. We're all, Android lovers too. And we also have Android phones for 40 million seniors. And we also have the check-in record for Foursquare at Shibuya Station. How many of you have been to Japan before? That's not a lot. I'm ashamed. But we're also known for the fastest tweets per minute for this anime that was broadcasted on TV on August 2nd, 2013. And also, our largest e-commerce giant in Japan has an investment in Pinterest. So, I've told you about Japan so far, but it's important for marketers and innovators to know what's next. A lot of you probably know what's next, but unfortunately for people coming from Japan, a lot of it's new, and we get to interact with a lot of new stuff, but I see in the audience not a lot of you have been to Japan, so I'm going to tell you about what's happening in Japan right now, which may be relevant to what you are doing right now. So, advertising around like buses and so forth, that's been around for ages. But what happens when you use a car that is surrounded by an LCD display that becomes advertising? It becomes very personal, it becomes very connected, and it gives a new meaning for mobility. If you're in advertising, you could, for instance, like hack into my car to project advertising in front of your, for instance, your store. This is like Minority Report. But it's only a few years away. We talk about the environment. In 2011, March 11th, we had a devastating earthquake, and we had a tsunami. Ever since then, we've been energy conscious. So now, we're experimenting with electric vehicles becoming, for instance, generators or energy pods, batteries, that could charge the house. It's not the house or a generator charging the car anymore. It's mobility in the form of a car that is essentially a battery. Augmented reality. Augmented reality is this funny thing that you hold up your camera and you see something beyond that, dangling from the air. It could be coupons, it could be advertising for like rooms to let. But what if augmented reality can be a little more smarter and understand the surface or the geography behind that? This is smart AR that was created by Sony, and it should be on mobile phones pretty soon. So it understands the dimensions of what it's projecting images on. And these are kind of technologies that would sort of like enhance the client or customer experience with anything that you project toward them. Isn't this crazy? And watch this. This kind of technology will be default on your mobile phones in the next several years. Big data. I talked about the earthquake and the tsunami. What if you could visualize the behavior of people utilizing their GPS signals? Of course, there's a privacy issue. Of course, this thing they called the NSA that people are freaking out about. But if it's used for good cause, of course, it would help you understand, as marketers, about people's activities on a certain day, a certain time, and get meaning from it. So we're going to look at people's activities on the day of the earthquake in Tokyo. You see those lines? You can see the clock on the bottom right, 6 a.m. right now. You can see people coming into the center of Tokyo. And the more brighter it becomes, the more density of population you have. What if you can utilize this kind of technology to define where your clients are, where they're coming from, and where they're going? How long they reside at, for instance, your department store, at your store, your retail house, at your park, your tourist attraction. It goes beyond taking surveys, having people lie on forms. They're not honest people anyway. But if you could utilize GPS and location-based information like this, It'll be very, very powerful. And by the way, you saw that it came to a standstill right now because at 2:47 p.m., the earthquake hit. Now you see minimum movement. Now we're reaching 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Now it starts to pick up because the train lines around Tokyo started to get back into service. This is a visual story. But if we take advantage of it, it's an extraordinary powerful tool that you as marketers can have to understand real-life client and customer behavior. Okay, wearables. Who has a wearable? For instance, like who has Google Glasses? Who has a Pebble? Who has Nike Plus? There's a lot of people who go out and buy wearables these days. I'm equipped with 3 wearables today. A smartwatch, Pebble. I have a heartbeat thing inside my shirt. I'm not going to take it off. And I have an RFID tag to measure how many steps I've taken today. But by 2018, this wearable market will be extremely big. It's going to be like around like $30 billion. And people are coming up with really fantastic stuff. For instance, Google Glasses. But does it make sense to have a Google Glass and a Fitbit and a Pebble and so forth? You're going to have to buy all of this, and it's not interconnected and so forth. The next thing I'm going to show you was just announced 3 days ago. This was basically a creation by an eyeglass maker, not an electric shop or a manufacturer in Japan. They're called JINS. They basically place microdes, EOGs, that touch your temple and your nose. So they extract bioinformation and understand the level of stress you have, how sleepy you are, and so forth. These are the next generation of wearables that are just around the corner. And Google better hurry up because this is going to be out next spring. We can't wait for Google forever. So think of it this way. All of these wearable technologies are starting to merge together. They're becoming one component, one essential component that you have with yourself every day. Of course, you may not want everything, but if it comes in the form of glasses, there's a value proposition here. For me, it's better than Google Glasses. Okay, I'm nearing my presentation, the end of my presentation. I love this quote by Albert Einstein. He says, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. My boss tells me all that every day. So I always thought about this thing called nonverbal communication where, like, isn't there any way I can interact with my boss without having to say a word? Basically, this came out of a napkin drawing 4 years ago from a colleague of mine who wanted to basically tell anybody around her or show anybody around her which emotional state she's in. So we said, okay, there's focus and relax, and maybe we could put them into a form of cat ears. And we call them nekomimi, which is cat ears in Japanese. And they have a sensor on your forehead which could basically sense whether you're focused or relaxed. So if you have cats, you know that when their ears are sticking up, you're focused, or he's focused, and when they're tilting down, they're relaxed. You might think it's really funny, but it actually was one of the top 50 inventions of 2011, according to Time magazine. All right, I'm not here to promote cat ears today. But we're utilizing brainwave technology to enhance people's experience. For instance, I'm growing old. I'm having a hard time remembering things. And I found locks across a river just across from my hotel. When you're in a relation, you have lots of memories. But afterwards, you start forgetting about things. So what if you could build something and wear something that would record your interesting moments automatically based on the level of your interest? You probably all think I'm joking. I have a working prototype today. If you're interested, come by. So, we utilize an algorithm created by a professor at Keio University in Tokyo, where we can identify 5 emotional states of the brain and quantify it from a level of 0 to 100. So, we created something that would record your interest, but set the level of interest at, a threshold at 60. So whenever you're looking at something and your interest level exceeds a certain threshold, it starts recording. Now you know how this is going to end now, right? Ouch. So this is just a way to experiment with neural technology. So it's innovation, and it's something very new. But then again, it's something that you should look forward to, because this would probably, replace ethnography and traditional means of surveys. Because people who take surveys, they have one reason or another to leave fast. They fill in the form, they say yes, 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 no, 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 or even write nothing and they leave, even though you've given them an experience that not a lot of people get before a commercial launch or something of a movie or commercial, or, for instance, a car launch or whatever. A lot of the things that I showed you are strange things, but they're called innovation. 3 to 5 years from now, you might look back and wonder, that Kei Shimada guy who's speaking Graz for the first time, maybe he was right. By the way, I was called here, I was called on Stefan from the Marketing Rockstars board last year. We were in Amsterdam, and he came up to me and said, I'm formulating this thing called Rockstars, Marketing Rockstars. And to me, marketing and rockstars don't really go together. But it stuck in my head, because it was an innovative way of, extending an idea to myself and saying, I have a value proposition for you. And I hope my presentation today was such too for everybody here in the audience. Thank you so much.